Hello, welcome to this tropical update. So let's see the Atlantic, what's happening. So now we have two areas of investigation there from the National Hurricane Center. So this first area is down to 40%. Earlier was 50, but let's see, because the showers and storms with a tropical wave on Central Atlantic remain disorganized, but the gradual development of the system is possible during the next few days. Tropical depression could form sometime next week while moves westward, reaching the Western Antilles on Monday and continue across the Caribbean Sea through the middle to latter part of next week. So 0 and 40% chance there. And there's this second system potentially there at 20% chance the next 7 days. So another tropical wave between the west coast of Africa and the Cabo Verde Islands, producing minimal shower thunderstorm activity. Some slow development of the system is possible through late next week, while it moves slowly through the west to the west northwest over the eastern central tropical Atlantic. So be aware there. That system, most models show it going out like a fish storm, but this orange system, no, it might impact many people there in the Caribbean. So we gotta keep monitoring this. The latest European ensembles shows some support for this first system, a lot of support. So it shows like many ensembles showing like tropical storm strength, some even showing like hurricane strength in those pinks and reds there. So, but that's like a little bit exaggerated. Most show like tropical storm strength already entering the Caribbean, and are like hurricane strength into Cuba and some other areas. And there's even a non-tropical system that will come off the coast there. Some ensembles will show something on that. But there's the next system. This pair of ensembles here is the next system. That one tagged in yellow, probably going out there. And they are picking up on another system later there. So let's see here. There's this first system here, the next system that they tagged, and that third system that the model is showing there. So now three systems. So, but let's focus on this first one because the second one will likely go out into the Atlantic. So let's see the GFS. That was the European. The GFS ensembles are a little bit crazy. It shows some support for this first one, but not much support. So it shows some support for a tropical storm, maybe a hurricane near Hispaniola and near Jamaica next week, and some going to Puerto Rico and out into the Atlantic. There's more support for the next system there, tagged in yellow. So it shows a lot of support for that next system. Let's see uh, the European to 240 hours, because that's just 192. So the next 240 hours already shows potentially that first system heading towards Florida, both on the west coast and on the east coast, and have to watch for this. But some members take it towards Belize and the Yucatan. So it's still kind of uncertain if this manages to form. Cuba and Florida have to be watching this if this forms. Even Jamaica has to be watching this, and other areas. There's the third system in the Atlantic, and they have that second system kind of going out there and maybe approaching the Caribbean, but mainly going out there. So we have to monitor this system. Right now the probabilities aren't that high, but once it forms, many people will have to monitor it. So let's see now some operational models. Let's see here the GFS first. Sorry, shows here North Atlantic. Let's see, it shows that first system there, and the GFS like kind of takes a while, but it eventually, let's see, because this run is incomplete. So it shows here it goes there and eventually it forms way down by the western Caribbean tropical storm in Belize and the Yucatan. So the GFS only forming this system in the western Caribbean and forming the next system going out into the Atlantic there. So this is the GFS, the European. It has this system there, it keeps going, and even turns this into a powerful tropical wave or even a tropical depression once it reaches the Caribbean there. So regardless if this forms before or after passing the Caribbean, there will be a lot of heavy rain there and some problems. And let's see, later it shows the 001 shows it only forming by like the same spot as the GFS by Belize there. So I think the Yucatan and Belize also have to monitor the systems. Most ensembles are taking this towards Cuba and Florida, but the operational model is taking this towards Belize. So all those areas have to monitor this very closely. And the icon has, let's see, has the wave there, and it actually forms as it gets to the Caribbean, so the icon's a little bit stronger. Then it gets all the way down to a hurricane. The Caribbean passes just south of Haiti, and the run ends there. But the icon's a little bit strong with this, but you never know. The Canadian model is trying to form something, but it hasn't made it yet. So it shows the wave approaching there, like a tropical wave or a tropical depression. And then let's see, shows there, but the 001 didn't form anything. The 12Z today tried to form something, but the 0Z didn't. So let's see the European tropical storm probabilities. So it already gives a 10 to 20% probability by September 2nd, still by September 3rd, a 10 to 20%, by September 4th, a 20 to 30% chance there, tropical storm. Then it keeps going, still 20 to 30% chance, passing just south of Hispaniola through Jamaica, a 10 to 20 to 30% tropical storm chance, and then it has a going potential towards the Gulf there in Florida, and those new systems behind it both get probabilities there of tropical storm in the Atlantic, but lower probabilities. So let's see. Now, tropical depression probabilities. Alright, by Monday shows a 70% chance of tropical depression there, and a 40% chance in the system behind it. By Tuesday, still a 70% chance approaching the Caribbean. By Wednesday, a 60% chance. Thursday, a 60% chance still. And next Friday, a 50% chance, and it keeps going there. In the other systems, a decent probability to both systems to 50% chance there, and go out into the Atlantic, maybe some probabilities in the Gulf later. So yeah, so keep monitoring this, but if you're like in Belize, in Cuba, in Florida, in Jamaica, or the Dominican Republic and Haiti, keep a close eye on this system, but until it forms, we won't know much stuff. So let's see. But regardless when it forms, there'll be a lot of heavy rain through the Caribbean by Monday the 2nd and Tuesday the 3rd, but especially like August 2nd, as this tropical wave crosses there, shows a lot of rain and thunderstorms there. Some rain could be heavy all throughout the Windward Islands and other areas. So please be careful with that rain there, and storms by Monday and Tuesday. And let's see the rain accumulation next 5 days. Shows still the worst in the Atlantic, but it does show already some accumulation in the Caribbean, 38 millimeters, 35 millimeters of rain and storms there, even Trinidad and Tobago in some areas. So be careful with the storms and the rain. More in Jamaica, some afternoon storms, passing showers like Cayman Islands, afternoon storms in Cuba, heavier in western Cuba, and more in Honduras, Nicaragua, heavier in southern Honduras, northwestern Nicaragua. Might have more storms in Costa Rica, some occasional heavier downpours, and some more storms in the afternoon, especially. For Colombia, more heavy rain and thunderstorms for northern Colombia next 5 days. And basically all of Mexico there, we will get more rain and storms. So it shows until Monday, some accumulation there. Actually, until Sunday. Until Sunday, it shows few accumulation there, mainly the storms in the afternoon in western Mexico. But until Monday, it already shows more rain in northern Mexico there, close to the Texas border. And Let's see, until Tuesday, it already shows more rain there, and heavier, close to 87 millimeters there. In central Mexico, 292 millimeters, 75 millimeters, and western Mexico, 78 millimeters in some areas. And then next 5 days until next Wednesday, let's see, it already shows like 136 millimeters in central Mexico there. So be careful. More thunderstorms and heavy rain heading towards central northern Mexico on the next few days. And even into Texas there, close to 100 millimeters. And be aware. Let's see, next 5 days, those areas too, so stay safe. And then later, as the system crosses the Caribbean, the European has a strengthening the Western Caribbean there, and the GFS is kind of the same thing, it strengthens in the Western Caribbean. And then this in the next 10 days. So in the next 10 days, of course, there'll be, because the accumulation of rain throughout a 10-day period, there'll be a lot of accumulation throughout there. But let's focus just on 5 days, because 10 days is too much. But just in the next 5 days, the GFS already shows heavier in Costa Rica and Panama, more than 100 millimeters for Costa Rica and Panama. So be aware there. Some heavy rains into El Salvador and Honduras, some heavy rains as well. So be careful there. Into Mexico and those areas, Cuba, the Bahamas might have some heavier showers and storms. So yeah, some storms in the Dominican Republic. So stay safe. And let's see, the wind gusts as this system comes, we still don't know quite the strength and everything, but the GFS has a weak just on 40 km/h winds there as this crosses, because it has strengthening like later in the Western Caribbean there. So, and the European has a little bit stronger. Let's see, it shows some winds approaching there with the system close to it. Why is this not close to 51 km/h in some areas? But it will depend on the strength of this. But even the Virgin Islands show like 56, 60 km/h as it passes just south later. And even by next Wednesday, the track of the system is still uncertain, but it shows some strong winds through Hispaniola, Cuba, Turks and Caicos. So yeah, be aware. We'll keep monitoring and stay safe.